Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Russell Jackman. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question, and today's theme is baseball, since two reasons. One, we're getting into the postseason fairly soon here, and also we're welcoming back former Dodgers, Brewers, and Mariners pitchers all in one, Dennis Powell. It'll be kind of fun. We had him on, gosh, I guess maybe a year ago or so. I don't remember, but it was definitely kind of fun. We want to ask him some baseball stuff and get into some other sports. When we come back, I want to ask Dennis about what he thinks what'll happen if this new COVID situation kind of comes up, if they're going to shelter in place, and I mean, I don't know what that's going to do to sports. We also had some upsets in football. Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffaloes beating TCU, and Duke beating Clemson. Holy smokes, what's going on? Are we in the Twilight Zone? All right, and Nick Bosa, still not, as of today, the day that we're recording on a Tuesday, he's still not with the 49ers, and kind of find out what's going on with him. He's only been fined $4 million for missing training camp in the preseason. What's pocket change? That's not so much, right? And then also want to get Dennis's perspective on Shohei Ohtani. He's going through a surgery here, and there aren't too many two-way players anymore. So this will be kind of fun. All right, you are listening to Sports Econ 101. This segment is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, still providing mortgage investments yielding over 7%. As interest rates have gone up, they've increased their interest rates. You got to check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Russell Jackman, our special guest, welcoming back Dennis Powell, who's a pitcher for the Dodgers, Brewers, and Mariners. Dennis, welcome back to Sports.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. I was looking. Baseball reference, and I was noting, you had like 1985 playing for the Dodgers, and I'm thinking, that was kind of in between their World Series, right? It wasn't 81 and 88.
Yes,
yeah. I was going to ask you, how does a player feel about that when you get traded and then they win the World Series, and what goes through your mind on something like that?
Well, obviously you're a little sad because I was traded in '87 to the Seattle Mariners for Matt Young, and Matt Young comes here, and I go to Seattle, and we were totally two different cities at the time. Dodgers were doing great, Mariners was not doing so great. So, and then like you said, in '88, Dodgers win it, they win it all, and Matt Young gets a ring. So it's pretty sad because it's such a hard thing to acquire, getting that World Series ring. And, ironically, you're talking about the ring and how it feels. I think Matt Young also that very next year got, I don't know whether he was traded or he went free agent to the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
And he got hurt again. I think he only pitched a few innings and he got hurt again. But I think he got 2 World Series rings in 2 seasons from 2 different clubs and didn't even pitch that much. But that's the way the ball bounces sometimes,
Yeah. That's kind of frustrating. Russell, do you want to ask Dennis any questions before we go on to some other stuff here? Oh, Russell, he had to mute himself. Sometimes what happens is Russell gets a quick call. They ask,
right? Yeah,
because he's an attorney.
Understood.
Legal stuff has to happen sometimes. So let me ask you, Dennis. This whole COVID situation may be resurfacing. Personally, my own personal feeling is it has to do with the fact that it's an election year, and they'll just invent something.
Right.
But, that really took a hit on sports, basketball and baseball. It seemed like football kind of didn't get hit as hard, but
right, exactly.
Yeah. So
it kind of puts a damper on it. Yeah.
It does. And trying to have fans, where they have pretend fans and the music, whatever they try to, it's just not the same.
Yeah, I think that would have been pretty odd. Yeah, like you said, I saw some stadiums with the fake fans and the music cheering and stuff like that. I really do believe that would have been a very odd feeling as a player, knowing that you love the atmosphere of a crowd and how things change back and forth instantly. I mean, 1 second is like this, next minute like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I even saw some, like I said, some teams pitching in just empty stadiums, and it's to me it would have been hard to get motivated. I guess I
Yeah.
don't quite understand. I mean, I understand spring training games where you're really going at it inter squad, but you're talking another club and you're talking something that counts and for real.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it would have it's definitely a different feeling.
And also, I mean, it's probably even it's less than I'm just guessing now. It's got to be less than like even double A, right? Because at least double A, you've got some fans, and it's like,
Yeah, that depends on where you're at. Some fans in Double A, they pack out the place, and
yeah,
I would have kind of considered like A ball, I guess. Sometimes, sometimes you go to an A ball stadium, you might see 25 people and 30 people, and it's so. But I mean, yeah, I think it's just odd to be in a stadium that could hold 40, 50,000, and it's just the players. And like you said, it's just a strange feeling. And so if it does kind of resurface in a sense, like you say, we're going into postseason. Obviously, cities are getting excited for the teams that are doing well, and it really would kind of be a damper, like a dark cloud that hangs over, because obviously, it's some serious thing for some people who've lost family members, and just the mention of the name obviously would put some type of fear into just going out in that type of crowd again.
even if they don't put any specific restrictions, there just may be some people who are fearful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I mean, really, you have reason to. I mean, like you said, it just depends on your underlying condition, or it depends on the person itself, and like you said, it's just the crowd of saying, hey, I'm sitting in, people are definitely going to be yelling. So if it's talking about something that's airborne, then it's like, yeah, it really would make you think twice about just even going into a stadium. So
Yeah, especially if it's enclosed.
yes, yeah, correct.
Yeah. Of course, they like airplanes though. They supposedly those are like the best because they get it so filtered. Who knows? We were talking before we got on the air about how the organizations reach out to you you used to call them alumni, and what do you call them now?
Yeah, they call us legends now. They call
Legends.
us
I love that.
Hey, it's nice to be part of a group where they consider you a legend. I guess we're like Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron and Jackie Robinson. So, hey, you know what? I mean, if you made it to that level, you are a special person, though. I mean, it is such a hard climb to get to the major leagues, and so just to be a part of that group that made it, and it's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah, especially in baseball, because you got single A, double A, triple A versus in football, you come out of college and if you're good enough, boom.
You're there. Right.
Russell, did you want to ask it now that you're off of mute? Did you want to ask Dennis any questions?
Not at the moment. I think
not yet. Okay.
To the next break soon. Anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, actually we got about 2 minutes. So while we're still talking baseball here, Shohei Ohtani is having is it Tommy John surgery, or is it some elbow?
I think it was something else not pertaining to his last injury, based off of the information I think his agent said. It's not the same injury.
Okay.
He said something is inevitable coming down the map. He just didn't say specifically what it is, some type of surgery or.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be a free agent next year, I believe. So
that's going to, it's going to put, that's definitely going to hinder his, some of what was coming his way. It's going to make some people step back. And again, obviously, I think they will look deeper into the medical side of it, the teams that do, if they're interested. But it's something to raise a red flag, I believe, again, because just the simple fact of it's happened back to back like this. And it's a tough thing what he's doing. I mean, he's a special player. It's a tough thing to pitch and then hit. And then, like you say, just the daily grind of being a major leaguer is tough itself. And you got to be double. It's almost like double conditioned on both sides. I know you're conditioning as one, but sometimes pitchers condition a little bit different than hitters. And so it's just something that I think as AJ said, he's still going to continue to pursue both ways. So it's just it's going to be an interesting take.
Kind of reminds me of Little League, where it was like the pitchers were always the best
Yeah.
Best
Played
hitters.
everywhere. You just played. I think we had talked earlier, and you talked about that Buffalo game. I think there was one player playing on offense and defense.
Yeah.
And I think I heard it post game, and it was like, okay, really? I didn't know that they do. Like when you play in the minors. I mean, when you play coming through high school, and obviously you sign a professional contract, we only want you to pitch. But and I thought football would kind of be that same way. Well, we don't need you on offense and defense. I know they do have special teams and running backs.
Of course, when you're Deion Sanders,
yes, yeah, exactly.
What's the big deal? I did this all the time,
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting. Yeah, but Shohei's going to be an interesting topic, I guess, going into the off season, and we just have to wait and see. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, we are going to go to our first trivia question here, and again. Dennis, as a reminder, if you know the answer, don't say anything until we get back. I don't want to ruin it for the audience. Okay. What American League third baseman set a batting record for hitting 390 in a season? All right. And don't worry, Russell, we're not going back to the 1600s for this one. All right. What American League third baseman set a batting record, hitting 390 in a season? All right, that's our trivia question. Email edward@sportsecon101.com. We'll see if you know the answer to that one. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Russell Jackman and our special guest, Dennis Powell. Okay, first trivia question. What American League third baseman set a batting record for hitting 390 in a season? Dennis, what's the
yeah, no way. I have no idea. I'm sitting here just mulling over name. No, I have no idea.
Okay.
Because American League 390, he was hot.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so I'll give you a hint. Once I give you the hint, it'll probably come a little bit more into your brain here. Okay, 1980.
Whoa.
1980. And I remember this very well because there was the whole chance that he was going to hit 400, and he kind of didn't want. He was getting close to 400, but then what ended up happening was he was getting really close with the batting title, and he decided to sit out the last couple of games or something to kind of lock it in. And it was definitely not a Ted Williams moment, like when he ended up going, like 6 for 7 or something, and increasing his average. So who was that?
We should know that. Yeah, we should know that one in 1980.
1980. Russell, what's the answer?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, I'll give you. Okay, once I give you the team, you should know it. Kansas City Royals. George Brett.
George Brett. Yes.
George Brett. There we go.
George Brett.
George Brett.
390. Why did I know that?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Funny. Yeah.
I got video. I got video of me striking out George.
Ah, there you go.
But I also got video of George hitting a double. Yeah.
Kind of curious about this. Sometimes you see these matchups with pitcher hitter, and they have a history.
Right.
And usually it's not like a good history unless they've been friends for a long time. Did you ever have anything? I mean, you're such a nice guy, so I can't imagine anybody being upset with you. But did you ever have anything with any pitcher?
No, not really. No, where you had duels or just a hated rivalry. No, not really. Like you said, I'm a nice guy, and I, one of the things I think was my problem was I threw too many strikes. I think later in life, until a coach pulled me aside and said, "Hey, you're throwing too many strikes." No players. I had some tough guys. Like you said, George Brett was a tough out. Don Mattingly, I'm a left-handed pitcher, and some people would ask me what was my toughest out. And it was like George Brett, Don Mattingly, Wade Boggs. These were people who they just seemed to, even though I'm lefty, they could, if I threw a good slider, they would hit the left, or if I threw a, kind of hung one, they pull it down the line to right, or they was just squaring it up good. So I literally had to start throwing like little change ups to guys, lefties, because some guys you have to figure it out. And those were 3 guys that had to figure it out. And like I
Well,
said,
those
all
are
three of
three
them are good
guys.
hitters. All three of them are good hitters. So I said, they're tough.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're all Hall of Famers.
Yeah, well, yeah. but they're all and like I said, for that reason, I mean, they could just flat out hit. They it's almost like they slowed the game up. It was like you couldn't get it by them. They knew when to shorten up, or they knew when to take the full swing, or they just knew when to go with the pitch.
Yeah, but also at the time that you were pitching, I mean, those guys, that was their heyday. I mean, you weren't catching them at the last part of their, when they're 42 years old and trying to swing
Yeah,
a bat.
exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I
we
mean,
talk about guys today, and then, we'll throw names out there, but then I throw out names like you said, like Ricky Henderson and McGuire and Canseco and Bonds and Griffey. And I mean, we faced some pitchers too. I mean, some players too that were just elite players that, you really had to think, your way through the lineup. You're not just out there throwing. Pitching in Yankee Stadium was, it's intimidating because you're just going in the Yankee Stadium and you're playing against the Yankees, and your arsenal. And I wouldn't like the guys that they throw 101, 100 miles an hour, 97. You know what I mean? It was almost unheard of. I barely get 91 or 90, but so you got to pitch your way through it. So.
Yeah, well, like you said, I could just imagine your coach telling you, your pitching coach, you're throwing too many strikes, you're too accurate, so you have to start.
Well, yeah. I mean, because coming in up, you're a wild thing, you couldn't even find the dish. Now you find the dish, now you're throwing too many, but you got to learn, I guess, to make quality pitch. Ross Grimsley told me that in AAA at one time. I was going good, and he just came out to the mound and said, "Hey, dude, you're great, you're fine, but you're throwing too many strikes. 0-2, push a guy back, throw a quality ball or whatever, and it made sense. It really made sense because they know if you're around the plate all the time, these guys are, they can hit. So, I mean, we can see it today. Guys are throwing 100 and then they'll break 91 off, and it doesn't even phase some of these hitters,
Yeah. It kind of reminds me a few years ago, Hunter Strickland for the Giants. I really liked watching him, and he was really good. The problem was he was too consistent. I mean, every pitch was exactly 95 miles an hour, exactly right down the plate. And so these guys are just smoking it. And it's funny you mentioned Don Mattingly, because I think there was some very odd statistic, like he only hit 19 pop-ups in his entire career. I mean, it's ridiculous how accurate he was.
Right.
Yeah, and I remember there was a time I think he hit a home run in like 8 consecutive games or something. Well, so were there any players who you had their number?
I always say Kenny Lofton.
Kenny Lofton, okay.
Kenny Lofton. Well, Kenny and I had minor league history too, and in the big leagues we had a little time facing each other too. But I could always, once if he fouled off 1 or 2, the breaking ball always got Kenny. I mean, that's what I remember. Kenny's probably gonna tell you a different version, but in my book, he was one that just came to the top of my mind as somebody who I struck out. Another person who I probably only faced him maybe 3 or 4 times, but I struck him out, I think 2 or 3 times, was Darryl Strawberry. And which is, I've seen Darryl hit bombs and bombs and bombs.
Yeah.
And so when I look at some of the videos, oh man, I struck out Darryl Strawberry. See, I'm impressed by my journey just because of my journey and where I come from. And so for me, it's everything was glamorous. I gave up a home run to Bo Jackson. You know what? But I was there I gave up a home run to Bo Jackson. And so it's just one of those things from where I'm from and my journey and how I got to this level. It's like everything, I wouldn't change a thing, I guess, except my, just a personal side of me, some things. But the baseball side, I wish it could have been better. But you know what? Some things to me knocked me off paths, but that's life too, And
it's not a one-man game, so
no, it's a team sport, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a team sport.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Darryl Strawberry, because I just heard him give a sermon.
Yes.
Do you know?
He was out here close to me. I was supposed to went to that, and plans changed. One of my friends went and talked. Was able to get close, and he mentioned me. Yeah. And so he sent me a text. He said, "Darryl said get down here." So, but it was like, it was interesting. Yeah.
Holy smokes! Did he turn his life around?
Yes. Yeah. But but
Wow.
he's doing an amazing thing,
Yeah.
pastoring or preaching, and not necessarily pastoring, but just preaching. And
Yeah.
yeah, his life has totally took a 180, and good for him. Good for him.
Yeah. And I mean, you just kind of listen to him. And it's like, I mean, he's the real deal.
Yeah, yeah. You
Sometimes
take
these
it.
guys kind of, they just sort of pick something out of the air or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's like, if
No,
you,
I mean, and it's really awesome that you could take, again, to take your negatives and really turn around and inspire others to be
yeah,
more positive, because so many things that he struggled with, others are struggling with, and to be able
yeah,
to see that you can make a change is really huge. It's because like I said, I mean, he talks about it openly a lot, the things
yeah,
he
it does.
struggled with and being in jail and whatever, the drugs, and
Yeah.
then to be able to turn it around it's really huge. It's really huge.
Let me ask you really quickly, and then I'll let Russ ask some questions here. I've been kind of thinking this whole thing here. The, when you sorry when you played for the Dodgers back in those days, the pitchers hit.
Yeah.
Were you a decent hitter?
Well, I consider myself a decent hitter,
Okay.
but the numbers don't suggest it. I think I hit like 176 or something, but I hit 3 doubles. But coming up, high school and stuff like that, and playing, I always consider myself a good hitter. I could adjust and I could hit the ball, but yeah, I mean, I had 3 doubles in the majors, and it's a part of a record that again you're proud of it, that all your hits were doubles, but I had 3 hits, and but they were great. But yeah, I consider myself.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, you have to be a good athlete just to make it to the level that you did.
Right. But
Like
like you said too, I think you said it earlier, your pitcher coming back was your most
yeah.
valuable asset. I remember playing shortstop as a lefty,
Yes.
in some games, because you knew how to get to the ball, you knew how to throw. So you bat fourth, and you did everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, left-handed shortstop, that's definitely a rarity.
No, if you saw video, I think Don Manley played third in one game. He turned a double play. If you there's some video online. I don't know how he wound up at third base at the major league level. He made 2 great plays. One bounced off the pitcher and he barehanded it, threw the guy out. And then I think he turned a double play from third, if I'm not mistaken. But there's some video footage on Mattingly playing third.
Right. And I can just imagine when you hit those doubles, the crowd, if it was at the home team, a home game, going, "Holy smokes! Look at this pitcher he hit!"
They were all on the road too, I believe.
They
were all
on
the road.
and the opposing team, I can imagine the fans going, "You gave up a double to this guy," Nothing personal to you, but just the pitcher.
No, I get it. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's our second trivia question. Besides Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, and Ted Williams, what other player has walked over 2,000 times in their career? That's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown, Russell Jackman, and our special guest, Dennis Powell. Let's see here. Second trivia question. Besides Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, and Ted Williams, what other player has walked over 2,000 times in their career? Russell, do you know the answer to that one?
Oh, I'll throw out Ricky Henderson.
Yes.
Wow.
Really? Ricky Henderson, very good. That's got to be something
that is
good. A lot of patience.
That is good. Yes.
But I can imagine, when you get to be, again, when you're someone like Ricky Henderson or Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds, the pitchers want to walk you. They're just pitching around you.
Yeah, but I don't know why
no one wanted to see Ricky Henderson get to first base.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, why would you want to walk Ricky though? It's almost like a triple right there, man.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, he used to walk, steal second.
Yes.
A base hit, move him, steal, and then come home. Yeah.
But I do have a question for Dennis while I have a moment before we get on any other stories. And that is, you never pitched at Oracle Park. That was before. Yeah, you were done before Oracle Park. But you hear a lot of people saying that pitchers won't want to come, or the players don't want to come to Oracle Park because it's so hard to hit a home run, and that the weather out there is too cold a lot of the times. And what is your thought about that? And would you have wanted to pitch at Oracle if you were back in the game right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as a pitcher, you would love to pitch in parks that where the ball don't carry out that well. But no, absolutely, I would love that atmosphere because then you can challenge guys. You could be a little more bold and throw the fastball because you just felt it wasn't going to go. They really had to tag it to get there. I think sometimes Dodger Stadium had that effect about the ocean and the weather and the ball not carrying as well at Dodger Stadium. I think it had that type of reputation too. I think it's changed or something changed. The ball changed or something because they're flying out now. But absolutely, I would have loved to pitch in a park like that just for the reason, like you said, if that's the MO of the ball don't carry there, or you get, like I said, as a pitcher, because you could just challenge more.
And what do you feel about, how do you feel about the designated hitter being in both
Yeah,
leagues now?
you know what? That don't bug me for the simple reason, again, it allows, you want to, it takes some of the maneuvering out of a manager's hand. I guess having to switch out and be particular around that pitcher. But it doesn't bug me as much because of the simple fact that you still have your legitimate players and everybody knows the rules. So it's just like, it's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
That's pretty good. A lot of times guys who have been in the game for a long time, they just kind of like, you gotta stay with the old rules,
Well, yeah, well, sometimes, some of the things they changed, obviously, like I said, I'm not a big fan of, like I said, to me, I don't know why the bigger base, and I understand safety things and the catcher has to give path, but like I said, coming back, man, I saw some pretty tough collisions with Mike Scioscia, Jack Clark and Scioscia. So I understand too for the safety of the game, but some things are just, the clock, I guess the clock is working too, I guess, like I said, games are going faster and no one seems to be really thrown off by it. So I guess it's okay, but just some of the baseball things, it's just like let them go.
Right.
Let them go.
Like the clock. Were you? I don't know. I'm trying to remember your career. Were you a quick pitch person?
Yeah, if you're in a zone as a pitcher, if you're on that day and you're in a zone, you're pretty much get and go because you were feeling it, and to me. You've always been taught too that if you take a long time, now your infielders are going to sit back on their heels and so their reaction time is down. So the ball they should have got, they don't got because your ball 3, ball 1, ball 2. So the more strikes you can pound and just the pace that you go, it keeps your defense on the toes. So yeah, so I don't think the clock would have affected me.
Gotcha. Russell, you were about to say something?
No, I was about to ask about the clock, so I'm glad that you.
Okay. Or what about player? What is it? Extra innings or start a guy off at second base?
Now that bugs me there too. Because of the simple fact, again, you're trying to get the game over. If we're going into extra innings, I guess we're going into extra innings. But you know what? Play it clean. Play it clean. Putting the guy on second. But again, both teams have the same chance. So I guess it's fair because everybody's going to get a guy at second. But I understand what they're doing. Again, we're just trying to get it.
And as a pitcher, though, we go, no, I don't like that.
No, I don't like it because I think one pitcher just had a streak from the Braves. I think the Braves closer had like 18, 19 inning streak going. And because he came in to pitch the extra inning, that run was charged to him on a sac fly. And so it broke his scoreless streak.
That's a good point. That's not fair.
It broke his streak. Yeah. And so
wow.
Yep.
Well, what was the best game you ever pitched? One hitter.
San Diego against the Padres, 8 1/3 against Dave Dravecki. We were talking about the home run to a pitcher. I gave up a home run to Dravecki, I think in like the 4th or 5th. He was a pitcher. Yeah, I gave a solo home run to him, and like an inning or two later, I hit the double off the wall at Jack Murphy that I thought I got him back would have tied the score 1-1, mm-hmm. And so I go 8 1/3 against the Padres. I come out of the game like you said, in the 9th, and I lose the game 2-1. Needham Fury comes in, and I think I want to say Gwen or somebody hits just a little blooper over the first baseman's head. My run scores later, and yeah, so
What
that
was
was
it like
that.
playing for Lasorda?
Awesome. I thought Tommy was great. I mean, like I said, people have different opinions about Tommy, but the thing I loved about Tommy Lasorda was he was fair. He always treated you, whether you were going good or bad. He saw you. You know what I mean? He didn't really shun you. I had managers that would, if you're going good, it was like, hey, you know, Powell, but if you hit that little rough patch, it was like they never saw you. They walked by you. And you know, I played for Lou Piniella, and Lou was hard. Lou was hard. Dick Williams was hard. Rest him, R.I.P. But those two guys were hard, and like you said, it was more. I don't know if they took it personal that you lost, as you know, you're messing with my job, kid, or whatever. But you know, if you were going bad, you felt it with them.
Yeah, I would.
But
I can imagine. Oh, yeah.
Tommy was good. Like I said, he always encouraged, even to the day he passed. I mean, I could go to Dodger Stadium. Tommy's 90, and he remembered the game I pitched in Cincinnati against the Reds. Our three big guys had already lost. It was a Sunday day game, and they thought they were going to sweep us. And I got the start, and I pitched like 7 innings, and we beat the Reds. Me and Kenny Howell, I think, pretty much shut them out, or we gave up 1 run combined. But Tommy would always tell me that story when I first saw him. And for me, with all of the people that Tommy managed or coached or the games he saw, to remember that at 90 or whatever, and like I said, and you know, my wife would be with me or my sons, and to hear him, how he told a story in front of them, it just made me just like, wow, he remembered
That is really special.
Absolutely. No, I'm telling you. So Tommy was really my guy as far as the best manager I ever had, as far as, like you said, he treated you fair, and he didn't really, like you said, disown you if things weren't going right.
Yeah, I can imagine. Also, again, obviously, I don't know these people as well as you do, but I can just imagine how hard it would be to play for Lou Piniella.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I mean, he was fine. I mean, it's hard because you knew he came from Cincinnati, the Norm Charlton, Dibble days, and you remember the fight in the clubhouse. And then we got him in Seattle, and we were bad. I mean, we would find ways to lose a game, and it just. I just remember the tables being turned over and things just. Lou had a fiery temper that, I don't know. I think it was his way of trying to motivate us, to let us know that, come on, you guys are professionals. Yeah. But you're not playing like it. And he just had a way of just going about it that really was hard. And
let me ask you that as a pitcher, because you're not playing in the game every day,
right?
Even if you're on a bad team, you know, because you only get so many starts,
right?
You probably cherish every single start, and you play. It's like as though it's the World Series.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as a pitcher, like you said, I mean, I spot started a lot with the Dodgers or the Mariners. I made spot starts, but you're mostly a reliever. But yeah, if you're starting, you treat every game like it's, like you said, it's your last, and this is your opportunity to get another chance. And I think that's the thing about the Dodgers. Those games I did pitch well, it gave me another opportunity, because they had another opportunity. Because I was a young guy on a team with some good pitchers, and you know, Jerry Royce and Honeycutt, and you know, who are Fernando, and so I mean, we had some guys, you know, so it was just one of those things that, yeah, as a pitcher, you know, coming out of the bullpen, you have a role and a responsibility. If it's just to get the lefty, go in and get the lefty and go on inside and take a shower. But it's like, but get that lefty. You know, don't go out there and make it hard for the next guy.
So you did both. You were a starter and a reliever?
Most in the minor leagues, I started, but when you call it up to the big leagues, you go to the bullpen for back when I was playing for me. But then you would get spot starts along the way. You know, it's almost like what they consider today a bullpen day. They would just give you a start and say, "Okay, all right, kid, you got it."
So what was it like? Like, did you have to come in at times where it was like you're handed with bases loaded?
Oh yeah. I mean, there were times you come in bases loaded. There are times you come in, like you said, and you got to get Dave Parker out. You know, you got to get this left-handed hitter out, George Brett. You got to get this left. Yeah, you're my left-handed guy. You got to get us out of the situations. And there were times when I got traded to the Mariners. I think one year, I don't know whether it was like 88 or 87, 88, but I was third in the league in inherited runs. You would come in with guys on second and third and first and second, but you would get out of the inning.
Okay.
And Dennis Eckersley was first that year, and Steve
Well,
Fry was second, and I was third. As far as being,
wow.
I would come in and get the job done. So it was like I said, there were moments to where I really like, boom, I shined. It was like, oh, okay, yeah. Powell came in, he did the job, and hey, that's it. See you tomorrow.
So what was it like to when you did really well, and maybe when things didn't go your go your way, when you have to face mostly the pitcher who you came in for?
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to wear it. I mean, yeah, and they know too. I mean, you want to relieve your starter and not give his runs up, but then you get yours out. You know what I mean? That's so because you do have to go into that. And sometimes when you did the job great, yeah, they were waiting for you at the top step. But if you go in, like you say, you hang that gopher ball, you give up a triple, all his runs score and yours are, it's like they don't. I mean, yeah. So you feel bad because you were brought in to get the guy off the hook, and you gave up his run. So yeah, it's a bad feeling.
The thing is, I mean, you're a professional,
but they know,
fine.
yes.
And the thing is, I mean, if you do lousy, you get fired. So
Absolutely.
I mean, everyone knows you're always trying to do your best.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And consistency is the name of the game. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're gonna go to our third trivia question now. I'm gonna put the pressure on you, Dennis. You better know this one. All right, ready? Which pitcher won his 300th game in 1986? And you thought playing in the big leagues was pressure. This is pressure, knowing the answer to this question. Not
his 300th game.
He won his 300th game as a pitcher
in 86
in 1986. I'm thinking you probably played with him. That's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Russell Jackman and our special guest, Dennis Powell. And then, Dennis, I can see the smoke coming through the top of your head. Okay, so here's the trivia question. Which pitcher won his 300th game in 1986? And I thought you played with him, but I could be wrong.
I'll just throw Nolan Ryan out there just to throw it out.
No?
I'm gonna throw out Don Sutton, but I don't.
Yes.
What?
Don Sutton.
Yes.
Yeah. You did play with him, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I didn't. But no, I didn't play with him. No.
So in 1986, where were you?
I was with the Dodgers, but he wasn't there, was he?
I know he got traded. Didn't he get traded to the A's? But I don't remember when.
I don't think he was there. I don't think he was there in 86. He may have gotten traded to the A's already. That's so we might have to look at, but I don't think he was on the DR because I remember it was Hershiser, Honeycutt, Roy, but but I don't think Sutton was there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Are you ready? So Dennis, thank you so much for joining us. Here's our thoughts for the day. So my mom keeps asking why I have so much candy. She doesn't know I always keep a few Twix up my sleeve. There you go. And we're just going to throw these little puns in here. And why don't cows have feet like we do? Because they lactose. Russell, I can't see you. I don't know if you're laughing, but Dennis, we got him to laugh. We love that.
That's
good. All right, audience, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
So long.
Those were great.